basically me at 11. Fuck yeah.
You know, it's crazy because I hadn't seen that guy in years.
And he shows
And
up.
I went to the store to get some beer, and I see him. And he's like, "Hey, what are you up to?" I'm like, "Dude, we're about to like record the show down the street." He's like, "I'm there." And right there, he's just walking up
My
to
favorite
the
part
show.
is like he's standing like right in front of us, like everyone's like in a little like bunch, and he's like in front of everyone, like right in front of us, and he's like yeah.
And so the listeners know what we're talking about. Just check us out on YouTube. I believe the video is called Sin Remedio Redux.
Redux.
Yeah.
What were you saying about? What was I saying?
Oh, you were talking about a show in
Oh
Rosemead.
yeah, I was talking about a
different
show in Rosemead where this little anecdote where one of the guys, I don't know, I forget who we were playing with, but some of the guys that were there as we were setting up, they started to tell us to take our shirts off.
Take your shirt off, that's right.
Like take your shirt off, and kind of started yelling like things like that, and I remember we told them that we would if they took their underwear off first.
I think
that didn't happen.
I think there was something else at another show recently where these idiots, I don't know what band it was, but they kept telling the guys to grope the girls in the pit because there's a lot of girls in the pit.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and I was getting aggravated. I mean, they were just being really narrow-minded jerks. And when we played, Christy got up on the mic, and what did you say?
I think I said, "Hey, you know that guy that said to grab the chick's tits or whatever?" I don't know if I can say that.
Yeah, it's passable.
Okay. He came up and he said, "Hey, get in the pit. And the pit is to grab chicks' tits and all that or whatever." So when we got up, I was like, "Hey, everyone, get in the pit and find that guy that said to grab chicks' tits and kick him in the balls."
Who was that? That's really bad.
I'm not gonna name names.
Oh no, we should, dude. Forget that.
Let's put him on blast.
Yeah, man.
I have a side thing in my very first show that I was gonna play with these guys. It was in Ventura, so it was about an hour drive.
Oh my.
So I was I didn't have my own amp yet. I was still nervous. I just had an old Epiphone guitar, and so we drove up there, and one of our friends gave us a show. So we go to the place, and it's empty. Like we were running late, because it took so long to get there. And I think the headlining band they were waiting on us, but they had played, so everyone left after that. So we got there, we set up. There was probably around 5 people there, including 2 people we brought. And so I'm like, okay, at least there's not a lot of people here in case I totally messed this up. So they have their amps and the drums, but I didn't have my amp yet, so I'm using the one they had there. And it was this really old, I don't know what even amp it was, and they didn't have one of the legs or the coaster. I don't know, what are they called? Casters. So it was lopsided. So I'm afraid it was falling off, and then it didn't have a foot switch, so I would have to go on the head and push the distortion on or off, to switch between the song. And when I would do that, the amp would... It sucks. So then I'm playing, and then my string busts.
Oh, man.
I came prepared, though. I had other strings. So I walk around where we were playing, not the backstage, but just behind the stage. And I see my guitar bag, and I don't have the string that I needed. So there was a bunch of stuff, a bunch of chairs and other things. So I was walking over them, and I had some like Dickies pants on, and they had a small rip in the knee. So as I'm walking over these chairs, and I totally just and ripped my whole pants. So I have to play the show without a string with my pants half ripped. Not even like my first show, and we played one of the songs I wasn't even playing right.
And then you got your period or what?
After that, it could only get better, though, right?
Exactly, though. So that was
Rookie stories are always the best ones, man.
Yeah, those are the
Rookie.
best.
A Wookie?
Who you calling a Wookie?
Wookie?
Well, before we get in the last track, I'd like to thank you guys for coming in. You guys were a pleasure to have in the studio. Of course, live in the studio with Sin Remedio, only on Pancakes and Punk. Sponsored by houseofstickers.com. Go check them out. And this last track we're going to get into, what's the name of it?
Sin no me importa.
Okay,
Hidden track.
You're gonna have to hang in while I find it, and then I'll have to cut it up and edit. But thank you guys for coming. It was a pleasure having you guys in.
Thank
It was a
you.
lot of fun.
Thanks
Thank
a lot.
you.
Thank you for having us.